Hi, Harry.
You can't
Stud was
Harry.
Stud was saying that you're the number one center, but he also said it's a good battle with you and Luke. How would you kind of assess that competition there?
No, I agree. I love Luke. I think Luke's a fantastic player, and I think if you go anywhere and there's not a competition, then there's something missing in that. I love working with Luke. Luke is super smart as a young guy, and just to talk about blitzes and defenses and what we're trying to do as an offense, it's great to work with him and to talk with him. So I would agree. I think it's a great competition, and I think Luke's awesome.
Stud also said that you've always been a big, strong guy, but you're even bigger and stronger this year. Just talk about what you did over the offseason to get stronger.
Yeah, I feel that way. I worked really hard this offseason, and it's just sort of one of those things where I think every offseason you improve and you think, wow, like I've sort of apexed and reached that. And you have a season, then you come back in the offseason and you have what you did last year. Now you have another year to do even more stuff. It always seems you're able to take another step on that. And then so for me, like after this summer, I had my lowest body fat since I've been here, and I think I lost 10 pounds of fat and gained 9 pounds of muscle over the summer post surgery, and I was able to do more pull-ups after getting a labrum surgery than before a surgery. So. And I was really happy with that, with upper body strength, lower body strength, speed, and agility. So I was really happy to work hard over the off season.
Harry, on the lighter note, who has better hair, you or JT Tuimoloau?
I would say, they're different textures, I guess. I guess it would be inappropriate for me to say which one, because I guess that's like apples and oranges. He has great hair. Steele has great hair. Steele Chambers, great hair. Marcus Crowley, great hair. There's a good group of guys. So hopefully maybe there'll be like a group Head and Shoulders deal, hopefully something. Because we have a lot, I've got my, blonde hair, and then we've got Steele's hair, and there's a huge versatility for a lot of markets. So anybody from shampoo companies.
Is that time consuming to prep that head of hair?
Usually not. I'll put it in a bun and then put a helmet on it, and the helmet just keeps everything out of my face. So luckily I don't play a sport where I have to be pretty and have my hair tied back without a helmet, like basketball or something. So I can just put on a helmet and it deals with everything.
Hey Harry, you didn't early enroll your freshman year, but you were still pretty involved in the program and going to Zoom calls. Zoom didn't exist back then.
Right.
You were still meeting with Stud a lot. How did that help you in, I guess, your development for when you did get here in the summers that you were able to just be a second string guy with your stuff?
It helped a lot. It was able to you get a lot of it gets you over the learning curve really quickly, and it takes a lot of energy to get over the learning curve, and then once you're there you can do a lot of things. And I would say we have a lot of guys who came in this summer like Donovan, who's doing fantastic as a young guy, but having that opportunity to learn before you're here can clear up a lot of confusion that you would have otherwise if you didn't get to prepare like you did having FaceTime. And so it was extremely useful for me, especially.
Is there any frustration you've been here for 3 years and you still actually never been to a spring practice?
It is really, I was thinking about that. It's really bizarre because of COVID, because of recovering from a labrum surgery. It's really bizarre. So I don't know what emotion I would put on that, because of course, I want to, just like camp is such a bittersweet thing because it's so difficult, but it's also, you're spending 14 hours a day with your buddies. So I would say the same thing about spring ball is there's something to be said about doing hard things with people you care about. And that's what spring ball is, that's what camp is, that's what football is. And so yeah, it's definitely something, it's a sore spot to miss those things, and it's bizarre that I haven't had one yet. So
Harry, you obviously played center before, but last year you played guard, and now you're going back to center. Are there things you have to do to kind of retrain yourself as a position, or
yes,
riding a bike?
no, especially there's a lot of neurologically you get grooved into doing a technique, and you get into a left-handed stance and operate like this, and it's like clockwork. And then moving to center, because it was like Michigan State, it was difficult having Josh leaves, and I was having to retrain myself, and I realized. Especially as a freshman playing center, you're in low stress environments because you're playing in a blowout environment, and there's really little consequence, and so there's less stressors, and so it's easier to perform. And then when you get to a high level environment, a high stress environment, I realized that there were a lot of technique things I had in the center position that I hadn't made concrete grooved in. And so fortunately I was able to have an entire year now of this off season to create that lizard brain and to create that muscle memory of performing certain center techniques while in a high stress environment, because you can't focus on it like you can in a low stress environment of a blowout game as a freshman. And so there's definitely lots of nuances between the positions, but luckily I've had a year to be able to work and practice and refine things.
What did you learn from Michigan State?
I learned a lot of things. I learned it's just hard to be utility, and I learned how great like my class of guys was to fill in after having so many guys absent. I learned that people can be really mean if you play poorly, and it's really no surprise to me. And it was a great learning experience. It was extremely difficult to switch positions quickly like that and pivot like that. But now I think again, as a learning experience, it's something I think that would be much easier for me to do in the future.
When actually did you find out you were going to
I think it was probably within like the week before, because I guess we were going to play Illinois, and a huge load of guys tested. A huge number of guys tested positive, canceling it for Illinois, and then we're practicing that week for Michigan State, and there was I guess throughout the week more guys were testing negative or testing positive, and getting removed. And again, it was like I talked with somebody earlier about just the year of COVID places so many variables that are non-football but work their way into becoming football, because now there's not an injury report, there's a COVID report, and there's guys absent because of that. And so I would say within a week or so. Yeah.